Hey there, I'm Di and welcome to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about the best ways to stage your home to sell it quickly. So right now it's a seller's market, but we have sold a home a number of times and I want to share some of my best tips that you can make your house the most appealing it can be to buyers that are coming in to help it sell in the smallest time possible so that you can move on to your next place. So before we dive into the tips, I did also want to say that I think that these are important things to think about and consider doing regardless of the type of market that it is, whether it's a seller's market, a buyer's market, whether there's lots of inventory or not much inventory. These are great ways to create a presence for your home, to make it inviting for buyers, and to really make it stand out from the pack. And so these are some of the best ways that I have helped our homes sell quickly regardless of the type of market it was. This home that I'm standing in right now, we just listed for sale. It is a seller's market right now, but it listed for sale and sold in one weekend. It went for over list price, which is fairly common right now, but I really think just getting the rooms in order and giving it that presence really helps it stand out. So here's my first tip that you should do anytime you are getting ready to list your home for sale. So tip number one is something that I think your realtor should hopefully tell you as well, and it's kind of a no-brainer, but it's get as much excess stuff out of the house as possible. So if you're a collector like me, I love my collections. I collect all sorts of things, from little small things up to larger things like handbags. And I think the thing is if you're gonna have any of your collections in the house, keep it contained to one small area, but get as much of it out of the house as possible. I think this goes for furniture, collections, excess decor. I know that I really love decorating and I have a lot of decor around the house. When I'm getting ready to list a house, I really try to go through and par down what I have for decor all around the house. So it's kind of like the saying that you use for accessories, where if you put 7 things on before you're gonna walk out of the house, take 2 of them off and you're probably ready to go at that point. It's the same thing with decor. When you walk around your house, there's probably a little bit more out, even if it's decorative, than you really need when you're listing the house. Try to clear off countertops as much as possible. I normally decorate my countertops in the kitchen. When we list our homes, I try to have them as bare as possible. You really want the buyers to be able to see what they're planning on buying, and that's the house, not your decor. So after you've done step 1 and you've got as many of the items out of the house as possible, that leads me to step 2, and that's depersonalize. So this is another thing that hopefully you've been told to do, but I know that as a buyer, I've walked in some homes and this wasn't done, so I wanted to share this tip because I think it's a really important one. When buyers walk into your house, you want them to feel like they can see themselves living there, especially if the house is a really good fit for them. So get all the pictures of yourself, of your kids, of your dog, get them all out of the house. Anything that's personal to you. Names. I know one thing that I had in this house above our TV area is I had a letter for our last name. I took that down. I didn't want anything that signified something that was special to us, but may not be special to everyone. So really depersonalize, take all the pictures out, any personal items for security reasons. You obviously don't want your passport laying around and things like that as well. So it's for both decor purposes, for the buyer to feel like they can see themselves there, but then it's also for security purposes. You don't want anything laying around with your full name or security information, that sort of thing. So really go through the house and look at things through a buyer's eyes. And I think that's one of the things that helps me because I've been a buyer on that side. I kind of know what buyers are looking for or not looking for when they're looking around the house. So really try to go through the house with that buyer's lens on and just try to take note that there's nothing that's maybe really, really special to you. It's got your wedding dates on it, the date, the coordinates of where you met. But that's really not going to say anything to a buyer other than this is someone else's house. So tip number 3 during staging to sell your house as quick as possible is organize. Now this is one of my favorites because I get to do all those projects that I've had on my to-do list for quite some time, and they keep dropping down the list, and I finally somehow get around to them when we were listing our house for sale. So just recently I shared our pantry makeover and organizing our pantry. You guessed it, ding, 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 that was part of staging. So So I wanted to stage our pantry a little bit. Buyers are gonna look in cabinets, they're gonna look in drawers, they're gonna look in pantries. They're gonna look at those spaces to see how much storage space they have. So you wanna show off that storage space and again, have cleared out as much as possible. But then the things that are in there, like if we have a bag of dog food sitting there, there's nothing wrong with that necessarily. But one of the things I wanted to do when I staged our pantry is I organized everything. I put some nice looking baskets in there. I had some nice looking containers that had everything labeled. And it just is another one of those things that gives buyers kind of peace of mind. And also if you can remove as many labels as possible as well. I know labels are something that drive me nuts. Like labels on the outside of like a plastic container or stickers or anything like that. But it also can transfer to something like a pantry where they have like a dog food brand. Well, they may go like, oh, our dog can't eat that, or our dog does eat that. And then your buyer is like thinking about all these things that are unrelated to what the house is gonna offer them. So as many of those opportunities that you can remove for them to just solely focus on what the house can do for them, I think is a really great way to help them see themselves in the house. And it's also a great way to get a little bit of organization into your house as well. Even if you're gonna be moving, especially with like the pantry, I just tend to try to find ways where I can bring those organization items with me. And luckily at our next house, it has kind of a similar setup. It's a little bit of a different dimension, but I'm gonna be able to just transfer all of those rolling carts that I already had, all of the bins that I bought, the baskets that I bought, they're all just gonna drop right into the new pantry. And as a bonus, you have an organized pantry at your new house. So this next tip that I have, tip number 4, is a bit of a deep dive. So this is if you're really wanting to just completely go all out, you want to stage this house, you want to really look at it through the buyer's lens and order things to stage that are just going to really kind of make it over the top. So I always think about what the photographer is going to see and how the lens is going to see it as well. So after you've gotten everything out, after you've depersonalized everything, I also look at all the color schemes. So I tend to decorate with like kind of similar color schemes. And here there's a lot of pink and purple, but throughout the rest of my house, it's a lot of blue. It's a lot of teal, it's a lot of turquoise, it's lots of blues. So I tend to try to stick everything in a similar color palette, neutrals that play off each other and those sorts of things. But something that I had to do at this house is occasionally you may have to change out some linens, some pillowcases, some towels to really neutralize a color tone or make something pop, really make something as show-worthy through the videos or photographer that's gonna come in and take photos of your house, really make it show as well as it can. And that's something I did at this house. So we were using a comforter that I really, really loved. It was a dull teal that had a nice little quatrefoil pattern. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I love quatrefoil print. It's all over my house. But even though it's something I really liked, it was not something that really made the room pop necessarily. It was a really cozy comforter, but it wasn't as visually appealing as it could make that room look, as it could make the whole bed set look. So I ordered a new bedspread and new kind of comforter set to really kind of go with the elements in the room that are going to be staying, which is the fireplace that we have in our bedroom and all of the hardwood and all of that that's in the bedroom, and really kind of play off those elements so it shows off the best features of the bedroom. Now, is this a comforter that I may have necessarily gravitated towards just in a regular day? Maybe not. I actually really like it. I think it looks really good and it makes the whole room pop. So I did this also with our pillowcases on our couch. I have just pillows that I put down inside different inserts for holidays and things like that. The pillowcases I had on there were kind of bright and fun, but they were almost a little bit too bright. So I got a neutral kind of splash pattern that went with the blues in the rest of the room. And that way it wasn't the first thing that grabbed your attention when you walked in the room. You weren't just going pillow. Because I don't want the buyers really to be obsessed with the pillows. I want them to be obsessed with the house. The other thing that I did do is I sometimes buy little towels and little accessories to help decorate as well. So although this is not a linen, one of the things that I did that I absolutely loved and I thought it made the bathroom look amazing is I got one of those wood tub holders, rolled up a little towel, put it on there, bought a little candle, put it on there, and just completely staged that area up. I got it on sale at Target. It was like probably less than $25 to do the whole area, and I feel like it just really showed the potential of that area a lot. So don't be afraid to spend a little money if you have it in your budget to really show off how some areas can really work, and also highlight elements of the house like that fireplace in the bedroom, pulling in that matching bedspread to really kind of highlight those elements to buyers that will be coming in. And my last tip is a personal tip. You may or may not want to do this one, but I love doing this one. I feel like it makes it feel a little bit more like home, and I always do this for pictures. I try to do it for showings. For our showings this past time, we actually rented a cabin and got out of the house, so that way buyers could just be back to back to back. So it may not always be a possibility depending on your showing schedule, but definitely for photos at least, I really love having fresh flowers in the house. So I love decorating with florals, and I found a lot of really great florals that are faux on Amazon and at Home Goods and different places like that. But I love having fresh flowers in the house. I just feel like it makes it feel a little bit like home. It makes me smile. And I think it's just a really nice element to have either at your showings or even in your photos. I try not to get things that have a lot of scent to them. A lot of times I'll use something like a hydrangea or something like that, or even some greenery, so that way you're not worrying about allergies. But for photos especially, I just love the way that they look. You can really tell a difference in a photo of a faux flower versus real flower. So that's a little happy that I do for myself and something that I really enjoy. And the last tip, bonus tip, to help buyers really see themselves here, I sometimes put subliminal cues around the house. And I already decorate with things that say welcome and they say home, but I actually found this really great welcome mat at Target. I'll try to link it down below for the time period that it's still available for sale, and it literally says welcome home. So every time a buyer stepped through our threshold to get into the house to view it for a showing, they were stepping on a mat that said welcome home. It was a really nice, just kind of neutral one, I believe from the Magnolia line at Target, and I really loved that little touch. I also got a key made for the house that came on a little key that said home as well, and that'll be what we're transferring over to the buyers. So I think there's just little elements, like if you have to go get a key made for the house anyways, just get one that says home. It's that little bit of extra touch that buyers start to feel like, oh, okay, we could make this into a home. So I hope you enjoyed hearing some of my tips on how I've staged our homes to sell as quickly as possible regardless of the type of market that it is. And these have really helped us. So we are now on our 6th house sold, our 7th house bought, and we are looking forward to starting out on our next chapter of our lives. But these have been some helpful hints that I have really helped transform some of our spaces, just make them really pop and make them shine, and hopefully they've been helpful for you as well. So thanks so much for watching today, and have a great day.